was my requirement that you don't change this test thing. What students try to do with this, no matter how hard I tell them, they try to change this one to well, this one, I'm trying to think of an example. This, yeah, tell me that. If you change this to how, it might come out to be a complete sentence, but using how here is going to lead you more to less information, okay? What people often do with this is they in their minds, they change this to how. This still is a complete sentence. Okay, the author is trying to tell me how bison survived. That's a complete sentence, and as we said, this is also a complete sentence. But my question is, if you write this, my question is going to be, that's what you need to tell me, okay? You need to tell me how. This isn't enough. It comes out to be a complete sentence, but it isn't quite enough. So again, stick with the that. It's a really good test that always works. The author is trying to tell me that bison survived because the hunters were too lazy to follow them, okay? Okay, let's look at our next one. Is he done with that? Put my hearing aids back on. Okay. What do you see repeated or referred to throughout here?
King Solomon and the Queen.
Yeah, King Solomon and Queen of Sheba. Okay, it's pretty obvious here. And it's always kind of easy when you have proper names, right? Because they kind of pop out at you. Okay. So can we just say the topic is King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba? Do people put that? Yeah, and actually this is where this, having these two things gives you more of a range here. If you just put bison here, okay, if somebody just put bison here, that will be okay. I take both of your answers into consideration. If you just put bison there, and then we move to the point where you are writing your own main idea, as long as you have the idea of the survival in here, this is okay. This is a little broad, but I look at both. If you put bison up here, it's okay if you put the word survival down here, which we have because we have the range running sense. Okay. So we could say the topic here is King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. Did anybody put anything else? Did anybody see something else that goes throughout? Yeah.
I put the love of King Solomon and Queen.
Okay.
And the Queen of Sheba.
Yeah, their love. What else do we see going throughout?
We see different versions.
Okay,
of
the
those
different versions of the
stories.
story. Yeah. Okay, so kind of like the Cinco de Mayo thing, there's a story too. Okay, because I don't want to leave behind all this other stuff with you. What's going on here? This noise is like, you know, and my problem is I don't only have a hearing loss, here's another vocabulary word for you. I have these two things. I have this. Anybody know what this is?
Yes.
I I have that, and I have, which is the worst thing. Anybody, you guys have this? That's good.
No, I'm just hard of hearing, but I don't know what those words even
Yeah,
mean.
you are lucky. It often goes with hearing loss. As you start to lose your hearing, you have these. This is a ringing in your ears. You have ringing in your ears. This means that you're ultra sensitive, and it's it's bad because you're losing your hearing. But certain sounds actually hurt your ears. It's like you can't hear people talk. But you've got this light going and that guy out there, and I'm just,
Now we got an added noise.
And then this, yeah, it's like, it's awful.
She has the same too, though. Sometimes it hurts.
Yeah, so you guys probably have a level of that, because it comes along with hearing loss. Yeah, so that's my problem, I'm like, help. Okay, so, yeah, these are two good vocabulary words. This is ringing, and this actually comes from the sound a bell makes. The bell's tinning, okay? And what does hyper mean?
Quick.
Hyper is
Like
more
hyper,
forward.
like jumping up and down, like
Yeah,
a lot of
if you're
energy,
hyperactive,
like crazy.
It's over, it's more activity than you need. And this has to do with hearing, acousis, like it's overhearing. You're hearing, one person will just hear, like if people are popping bubble wrap, you wouldn't think that would be such a big thing. I just want to say, it's terrible.
Well, where would that word fit in acoustics?
It's the same word, yeah, it's the same root, acoustic, the AC, yeah, the acoustic, you're hearing hyperacousis. Good connection. Okay, so what's going on here? This is one of these where our first sentence says the story of King Solomon and Queen Sheba appears in both the Bible and the Quran. It also belongs to the legend of Syria and Egypt. So is this paragraph going to go on and tell us all the different places that this story appears?
No.
No, because this is what?
Reversal.
This is a reversal transition. Although there are several, now here's an interesting sentence as far as looking for an introduction to a list. Although there are several versions, and you say, aha, this is going to give me several versions of the story. Is that the introduction to the list?
Yes.
No, that's several.
No. Again, here's another one. Although there are several versions of what happened, the stories agree on several basic points. So what's the list in this paragraph? What are you going to,
Basic.
what?
Basic.
These points. Yeah, what are these points? And of course, I would also like you to see, ask this, what are they? Which it tells some of them, but not really all of them. The biblical book, it talks about the biblical story. But it doesn't, it just says all accounts, which is all of the stories. We don't know, do we know that, okay, the Bible, the Quran, Syria, and Egypt, do we know that those are the only 4 places this appears? No, not necessarily. It's an example of them, but it may be in more places. Okay, so according to all accounts, the beautiful young queen journeyed to Solomon, the king of Israel, to test his wisdom. So that's one thing. She went to him to test his wisdom. What's the second thing that's the same? Okay, yeah, he's said to have fallen in love. Yeah, and then, okay, so yeah, so this is, again, think in terms of she returned to her country. She went to him, they fell in love, they had a son. She returned. Okay. For whatever it's worth, think in terms of making some kind of a list in your annotation. And again, be sure that you can tell me what is this list. So what is this a list of? Alexandra?
It's about the king, about King Solomon and the queen Sheba.
Okay, but what about this?
Oh, okay.
It's more than just that. It's more than just a list of what happened to them.
It's about the, like how they fell in love and,
Okay, but what about this? Yeah, this isn't just a list of what happened to them. This is a list of
like about the music and the
that
books.
yeah, that's what you've got to do. That's what a lot of people are not doing. I'm really happy to see that you're building these lists, but I'm kind of asking you, what is this a list of? Because I can't tell. Things that are the same
And the son.
in all the stories. That's what I want to see, is that you can tell me what your list is. This is not, it is a list of what happened to them, but more specifically in this paragraph, this is telling us what is the same in all these stories. These are things that are the same. Does that make sense? Yeah, like I said, I'm happy to see you guys are making lists, but we want to, what we're going to be doing over the next half of the semester is refining this into better notes for when you have to go back in this class and take a test. And what's your test question going to be on this paragraph? When you're in a history class, or we have a class called the Bible as Literature, you're in the Bible as Literature class, what's your question going to be?
Oh, well,
It's not just going to be who were King Solomon and Queen Sheba. It's going to be what elements of the story of these two people are similar across all versions. That's going to be your question.
they fell in love.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm curious, what is the Bible and the Quran?
Okay.
Like the Quran, what is that?
Did somebody answer the question,
The
Roxanne?
Muslim book.
It's the Muslim holy book. Would that be correct to say? Yeah, it's the Muslim religion's equivalent of the Bible. It's their word. Yeah, good. Okay, so in two different religions. Yeah. Okay, does that make sense to people? So you could put that the topic is King Solomon and Queen Sheba, as long as you get this right. You could also put King Solomon and Queen Sheba and their stories, the similarities in their stories. Okay. Okay, but this would be okay, it's a little broad as long as you get this right. Okay, so what about A? Is A right? Anybody choose A? Why, Michelle, why didn't you choose that one?
Because it's all about the culture.
Okay, does it tell us that it's in almost every culture?
No.
No. It mentions 4, but that's far from being every culture. Okay? Does it tell us about it illustrating the nature of true love? You might think that, but again, that would be putting your opinion on.
Well,
Okay.
one thing we can compare to that is Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, Romeo and Juliet, that's another one that comes across, that story of feuding families, people who fall in love and have something bad happen to them, yeah.
Is it B?
That's everywhere, yeah. What?
Is the answer B? Is the answer
Okay,
B?
well, that's what we're trying to find out. Okay, so what about B? Anybody pick that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because this is, it has the word versions, several versions exist, but there are similarities. Why isn't C right?
It says it on
Yeah, that's just at the end. And this is an interesting thing that, again, we're going to look more into as we keep going with this list. What about this sentence? As you notice, it's not on our list of things that are the same. What, anyone know what that sentence is called in this paragraph? When we're looking for parts of the paragraph, you have kind of an introduction, okay? Then you have the topic sentence, what's called the topic sentence, which is our next thing on this list. It's the thing that's closest to our main idea. So here's the main idea. The sentence up here that comes the closest to that is number 2, right? That says basically the same thing as sentence number 2. Okay, then we have the list of things that are similar. And then we have this, which isn't really one of the similar things. It's just another interesting point. Do you
It's
remember
an
what
add-on?
that's called? Yeah, it's an add-on. And believe it or not, in our reading, I know it's a little bit different from what we teach in writing. This is actually called, in this case, that's a CL, a concluding sentence. It's concluding in the sense that it isn't part of the introduction, the topic sentence, or the list. It's just, in this case, the concluding sentence is some more information. In writing, we try to, when we're teaching writing, we try to get you to have this be a kind of a summary, but there are also concluding sentences that just kind of are additional information. Okay, but yeah, it isn't part of this. So again, I'm kind of trying to introduce you to the idea that we're going to keep going with this. Find the topic, state the main idea in our own words starting next week, find the topic sentence, which would be this. Then we're going to learn to figure out what purpose all these other sentences are serving. And that's been my idea with the list. Once you have your list, you can say, okay, here's the list, here's the 4. What is all this other stuff around? Okay, so yeah, B is the answer to this. Okay. What do you see repeated throughout here?
Homeschooling.
Homeschooling, okay. So that you can pretty much homeschoolers, okay. So we can jot this down. Anybody put anything other than that, homeschool and?
Advantages of homeschool?
Okay, good. Okay. Where did Louise get that from? Successes, right? Did anybody put homeschool and success?
I just put homeschool advantages.
Okay, and advantages. Diana, what did you put? You didn't put anything yet? Okay. So we have successes, we have 1 grade level ahead, consistently scoring the top thirds, SAT scores are higher, the best students place first, second, third, go on to college. What does this word mean? How do you pronounce that?
Elite means special schools.
So, yeah, special, very,
Very,
particular,
yes,
yeah, they
like
only accept the top
top
level.
students.
Yeah, okay. So all of these things are references to, are positive. It's positive things, it's advantages. Okay? Is there a reversal transition here?
Also,
But,
Also is, remember, is an addition. Also is, well, you're looking for that, but the reversal, Sandra, is that what you're?
Is it? Yeah, I was gonna say the word but.
Yeah, that's the reversal transition. So at one time, homeschooling was dismissed as an odd educational practice, but alternative, practiced by only a very few. Yeah.
I put, in fact and furthermore.
Good, okay, those are transitions. So what we're looking for here, we see that it's not gonna talk about homeschooling as an odd educational alternative. So it's not gonna talk about homeschooling as something strange. But the long-term successes have caused parents and educators to reconsider the practice. What is a question that you might ask when you see this sentence?
What advantages
Okay.
does
yeah,
homeschooling offer?
what successes? Okay, yeah. Why? What advantages does it have? Yeah, that's the questions that come up from this sentence. What are the successes? Why is homeschooling so good? Okay, so what's the list here?
a list of the successes.
Yeah, the answers to these questions, okay? They're one grade level ahead. Okay, they score in the top third on tests. SAT scores are higher. Notice my little notes to myself. In the end run, you are the only one who's gonna have to read this. If you understand this, that's good, okay? The National Spelling Bee, 27 of the 248 participants. Okay, college, okay, and National Merit Scholarship. So again, ask yourself, what is that of this stuff? That's a list of the stuff that homeschool students are excelling in. Okay, so the topic is homeschooling and its advantages. What is the paragraph trying to tell me about homeschooling and its advantages?
A.
Okay, yeah. This looks good. What about B? Anybody pick B? Okay, good, because here's, I'm glad you did, because that gives me something to encourage you about my lists of why this crazy thing, why does Miss Penny keep making us do these lists, okay? If you pick this, which is true, and again, we're not looking for true and false, what I'm gonna say to you is, you know what? This is just one of the things on your list. See how that works? It's in there, but what you want to think in terms of, yes, this is true, but it's only one of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. So that's not your main idea. That's one of the supporting details backing up your main idea. So that's why you want to think of, what is this a list of? Things homeschool kids do better or something. your paraphrase. Things homeschool kids do better. One of them is get into college. So that's not gonna be the main idea. Does that make sense? So the reason I'm glad you said that is for me to be able to tell you, that's what this means. I'm gonna just go here and I'm gonna say, you know what, this is just one of the things I do, so this needs to be brought up. Yes, we're talking about.
I thought private schools were better, like more advanced, or better than homeschooling. I mean, I don't.
Well, that's the argument here. So that's a good prior knowledge of your own. That's a good input, and you can put that here. Aren't private schools even better?
No. No, they
Okay,
can't.
and one of the things I encourage people to do, and that's a really good question, when you have a question like that, one day down the road here, you're going to get into an English 111 class, and they're going to say to you, you have a research paper due in 4 weeks, and you have to choose the topic of that research paper. And you're thinking, what am I going to write about? Then you think, you know what? I would like to do, I remember that paragraph from English 322. I would like to go and do some research. And you could take this paragraph, if you still have this homework, and say, okay, here's these numbers. What do the private school numbers look like? Could you go and find the corresponding numbers concerning private school? Yes, you could. That's what research is all about. You go to the databases and you find this information, okay? So my point is these little things that we're just kind of passing by in here, this could be something you end up doing a paper on in another class. If you're interested enough in it and you remember, yeah, I want to find out exactly the answer to that question. That's a research project.
Private schools will fit in with the next one.
Okay, yeah, this
Because
is.
they practice it more there.
Right. And I think actually, what's happened over the past maybe 10 years is that this homeschool business has turned into, I mean, it's become an industry where you really don't have anymore just a parent sitting at home. Was anyone homeschooled? Any of you? So did you have like information from another source, or did your parents just teach you?
I just got the books and did it.
Yeah, that's it. They have books. They have all these resources for people. So it's no longer really just a parent or somebody else just doing it themselves. There's all this curriculum and everything. Yeah, so I think that's helped doing this. Yeah. Okay, but that's a good question. Okay, what about this one? Anybody pick this? That's not even in the book. It doesn't say anything about how many people are in it. Okay. Yes.
I put down C.
Well, let's see. Where do you see this? Homeschooling is now being practiced by the majority of parents who have children in school age. Where do you see this? Why was Louise tempted to circle that?
So one of the sentences, it says parents and educators.
Okay, yeah, I think what he's looking at is he read this. He read it was once only a very few parents. And then you read something else into the next sentence that wasn't there. Okay, it's practiced by only a very few parents, but what your brain is doing is filling in, but now a whole lot of people practice it, okay? That's what you gotta fight against. That's a good assumption of what's gonna come after that but it isn't what comes there. But that's exactly what Lorraine Fleming is. You are who she's looking for as somebody who's gonna take this, because you didn't really, you assumed that was gonna be the next thing. At one time, it was practiced by only a few, but now it's practiced by a lot. But that isn't what it says. Does that make sense?
So was it A or B?
The answer is A. Because this is just one of our details, not the main idea. And this, it doesn't say how many people are practicing it now. It just says they are reconsidering it. It doesn't say they're actually doing it. It says they're reconsidering it. Okay. Yeah, good. No, I'm glad you said that, because that's a danger of reading. We see this and our brain kind of says, oh, well, that means now, but a lot of people must be practicing now, but that's not what it says. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, what do we see referenced, repeated, or referred to throughout here?
Punishment.
Yeah, this is discipline. What does this word mean in this sense, corporal? Corporal punishment.
Like, well, it's like a certain abuse, right?
Yeah, but what kind? Think in terms of your vocabulary strategies.
Militant.
Students?
What kind of clue is there? Each year, about 400,000 students across the country are disciplined with corporal or
Physical.
physical. This is your restatement clue. This is what this word means.
Like with a
Don't
ruler,
lose sight of
too?
that restate, don't lose sight of those clues.
Are they beat with rulers?
Corporal, well, let's see, we're gonna read, okay? Corporal, which means physical punishment. Even though those who oppose corporal punishment say it's not only ineffective, but can also do harm, okay? So we've got paddling, spanking, all right? Here's this again. Remember even the paddling. So evidently what we're talking about is just some kind of spanking. Has anyone ever experienced that? Amazingly, I've had students.
Yeah.
Was it here in the United States?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and you had this here in the United States. I've had an amazing number of younger students say yes, they have still had that. I thought it was outlawed. To me, this is surprising. I mean, I would say, wow, I thought they made this against the law.
They do it a lot in private schools now.
Okay, that could be, yeah. That's a different, yeah. So this is this is a surprising thing. You think this is old fashioned, you think they don't do it. Okay. Do we see any indication that there's a list?
First.
Yeah. It doesn't have one of our things that says there are a number of reasons for this, or there are several ways that people do this, but this indicates there's some kind of a list. So
There's a pros and cons.
okay, so that indicates that you need to say, okay, what is this a list of? It's no more effective, it just delays the next incident. Even worse, okay, children who are spanked react badly. Here's another one, okay. Is it the pros and cons?
No. Just
What is it? It's
The cons.
just the cons. Okay. Yeah, so again, be sure that you understand what you're making a list of. It's not effective. It delays the next incident. Even worse, so these things here are serving as addition. The children get rebellious. It's too easy to use it. The teachers may not make the effort to do something more positive, and they could cross the line. Okay, so there's your list, and what is that a list of? A list of the reasons it's not good. Okay, so So obviously our topic is spanking, punishment, physical punishment, corporal punishment. What about this? Is A right? Anybody pick A? If somebody picked A, what are they doing? If somebody picked A. That's an opinion, right? And a lot of people have this opinion, but this isn't what this says. Okay? What about B?
Is it C?
Is that what it says? No. Again, that's just one of your things. That isn't what the whole thing says. And it doesn't say all too often. It just says some future. So by process of elimination, which is another perfectly legitimate way to get an answer if you're not sure. If you're absolutely sure these two are wrong, then it's a pretty good guess that number C. Does that make sense, people, what we're looking for in these things? Okay, so let's go ahead and turn these in. I think we only got 30 seconds, but I think the last was the easier because I wrote up the answers myself. So turn these in, and then come, and people who are reading the midterm, please get that in as soon as possible. If you have a yellow